Your coworkers are not your friends. Let me say that again with the calm intensity of someone who learned this the hard way. Your coworkers are not your friends. Not because people are bad, not because the workplace is dangerous, but because pressure changes people. And the moment pressure enters a relationship, loyalty becomes unpredictable. I wish someone had told me that earlier in my career. It would have saved me years of confusion, heartbreak, and walking into the office with a pit in my stomach. The truth is this: one wrong person in the wrong moment with the wrong motives can turn your vulnerability into their leverage. Today, I want to talk about that moment, the one you don't see coming, when a coworker stops being safe and starts being strategic, and I want you to avoid the mistake I made. Hi, Unbreakable leaders. I'm Pavler courage decision scientist and leadership coach. For 23 years inside Fortune 500 billion-dollar companies, I studied the exact moment humans crumble, freeze, or rise under pressure. Welcome to PAVNESS, Unbreakable Leadership Lab, Courage Under Pressure. If you want to lead with courage, clarity, and emotional intelligence in a world where pressure keeps escalating, hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and let's dive in. Let me take you back. Early in my career, I did what most people do when they finally land a job they love. I got comfortable, I softened, I started trusting too quickly. I had a coworker, let's call her A, smart, charming, the kind of person who made you feel chosen just by sitting next to you. We bonded over lunches, long project days, jokes about our bosses, and one day, without thinking, I overshared. Not anything extreme, just some personal frustration, some life stress, a thought about the team dynamic. It felt harmless, it felt connecting, it felt human. But a few weeks later, during a stressful sprint, I heard my own words come back to me, twisted, exaggerated, and delivered to me by someone who had no business knowing them. And I remember standing in the hallway, heart pounding, thinking, wait, how did they know that? Who said that? Who repeated that? Then it clicked. It was her. The coworker I thought was my friend. And here's the truth nobody tells you. Workplace friendships turn toxic quietly. Not because the person changed, but because the pressure around them changed. Maybe they wanted to look good. Maybe they wanted to be included in certain conversations. Maybe someone else pressured them for information. Maybe they panicked and threw someone under the bus, you, because it was the easiest thing to do. In workplaces, information is currency, and vulnerability is leverage. I learned in that moment that I wasn't betrayed by a bad person. I was betrayed by a human under pressure. You've been there too. You know the feeling when you tell someone something personal at work and suddenly the energy shifts. You walk into a room and feel eyes on you. Your stomach drops, your nervous system tightens, and you think, I trusted the wrong person. Let's talk about the psychology of why this hurts so much, because this is deeper than office gossip. When you overshare at work, a few things happen in your brain. First, safety imprinting. You believe you found someone who gets you. Your nervous system relaxes, your guard lowers. Second, emotional fusion. Your identity becomes dependent on their approval. You unconsciously expect loyalty from someone who never agreed to provide it. Third, chaos fragility. Under pressure, the coworker prioritizes their own survival over your secret. Self-protection overrides integrity. Fourth, decisional drag. You now second guess everything, every message, every conversation. You're no longer working, you're managing threat. Fifth, identity collapse. You start shrinking, you start editing, you start apologizing for things you didn't do. You lead differently because you're afraid of another emotional ambush. But here's the twist, and it's an important one. The mistake wasn't trusting someone. The mistake was assuming the workplace was designed for emotional safety. It's not. The workplace is designed for performance, pressure, hierarchy, and political survival. And when humans are placed in that environment, even good people make survival-driven choices. So let's reframe this entire problem. Your coworkers are not your friends, not because they're untrustworthy, but because the environment around them makes loyalty unpredictable. You cannot expect emotional consistency inside a system built on pressure, incentives, and competition. And that doesn't make you cynical. It makes you wise. This brings me to a PAVNESS framework I want you to use. It's called the 4 Rings of Workplace Trust. It will save your career, your peace, and your future. There are 4 categories of people at work, and knowing who lives in which ring will protect you more than any policy, any HR training, or any team building day ever will. Ring 1, the core, your personal life. These are people outside work, friends, family, the ones who earn full access. Very few should ever be here. Ring 2, the circle, trusted supporters. At work, this might be 1 or 2 people, not because they're perfect, but because their values match your integrity. You can share lightly, not deeply. Ring 3, the colleagues, professional only. Most people should live here. Respect professionalism, warm but bounded. Ring 4, the perimeter, known liabilities. These are the ones who leak, twist, or use information. You stay neutral, factual, and distance your emotional exposure. Here's the tactical piece. Your mistake wasn't trusting. Your mistake was placing someone in the wrong ring. So let's apply this to your life right now. If you're honest, who have you placed too close? Who have you given emotional access they didn't earn? Whose opinion is shaping your confidence, your decisions, your anxiety? You know exactly who I'm talking about. And here's what I want you to do next time pressure hits and you feel tempted to overshare. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself one question. Which ring does this person actually belong in? Not based on vibes, based on patterns. If they leak, they're not ring 2. If they twist, they're not ring 3. If they've ever used information against someone, they're ring 4, period. And if you're thinking, but I don't want to be cold, remember this. Boundaries don't make you guarded. Boundaries make you wise. Healthy leaders don't overshare, they over-clarify, they protect their peace like a strategic asset. Let me give you your playbook. 1, audit your rings, move people where they belong silently, no drama. 2, set emotional boundaries, not walls, boundaries. High warmth, low disclosure. 3, use the 24-hour rule before sharing anything personal at work. If it's still relevant in 24 hours, decide where it belongs. 4, replace oversharing with clarity. You don't need deep talks at work. You need clean, honest communication. 5, remember this mantra, not everyone deserves emotional access to you, especially not at work. If you've been burned before, you're not foolish, you're human, and now you're wiser. You get to choose intentional trust, not reckless trust, not hopeful trust, not trauma-driven trust. If this video spoke to you, comment boundaries up so I know you received this in your spirit. And if you're a leader trying to stay clear, confident, and courageous in a world that keeps throwing pressure at you, this is your show. Hit subscribe, share this with someone who needs it, and welcome to the PAVNESS Unbreakable Leadership Lab. Let's rise with courage, clarity, and an unshakable identity under pressure.